Do I recommend Veiled Fate Tribunal? Absolutely. In fact, we're not going to play it again without it from this point forward. And so if that's all you needed to know, the link to the campaign is down in the description and you're free to go. But in case you need a little bit more convincing and you want to know why we feel that way, these next 5 minutes are for you. For starters, this expansion Tribunal directly addresses many of the chief complaints people seem to have with the base game. This is one of those expansions that even if you didn't like the game, depending on why that is, this expansion may fix it for you. Now, if you ask me, I love Veiled Fate. In fact, you will see when we look at the base box, a Game of the Year sticker on it. It was my favorite of 2022. However, for some of my buddies who have some valid complaints about the first game, this is quite literally a game changer in the way it fixes things. There are 3 key strengths that this expansion has that are worth mentioning before we even get into specifics. 1, they're incredibly easy to implement. And 2, they're modular, meaning that each of these is going to be one that you can throw in or take out, and each game can be extremely unique. Speaking of unique, the 3rd strength is that thanks to the Celestials, one player in particular can play a completely different game than everyone else at the table. Let's start there. Celestials are roles that completely change the core objective of the game. There's one that gives you powerful one-time use spells. Another might want you to come in last place in order to win. And our absolute favorite of the bunch is Aridin, who turns the whole game into a literal pure deduction game where you're not really playing, you're just using god abilities. And then at the end, you have to announce who you think each of the players controls, meaning if you do that, you win. And for those who want a wholly unique way to play Veiled Fate, this is an incredibly huge addition. Next, perhaps the single most essential module included in the package is the Hadria expansion. Hadria is a miniature placed on the map that does 2 hugely important things. First, she acts as a sort of safety net for runaway leader problems, killing any demigods who are ahead of her at the end of the game. And secondly, she adds in cards that player can acquire, allowing them to cast god powers for free, with a catch. Each card gives the casting player a certain amount of corruption, and the player with the most corruption at the end of the game moves back 1 point. I love this because it really keeps any game from feeling too out of control. That one color just is exploding up to 15 points while everybody else is at 9 or 8, and you're certain that that person is up there, but you can't really do anything about it. Hadria allows everyone to stay sneakily close, and then even sometimes you'll want to push players past Hadria, and that can be frustrating because all of a sudden you want your guy to lose renown. If you're looking to make the game a little more strategic, you can add in the 3 servants, which are neutral figures that add specific votes to the quests that they're being added to. One might add 2 scorpions in, another adds in 2 feathers, and another doubles the rewards for wherever it's at. A chief complaint that I've heard about the base game is that you just never really understand how to read the board state and how people are manipulating, and these add in quite a bit extra for me, where I'm going to be paying close attention to who a specific player is adding, where these certain neutral characters are being thrown in. This isn't even all that the expansion adds. It adds in extra fate cards. It adds in extra adventures, which you could throw one person on in case you have a lower player count, which are great, especially in determining who these specific people are. If you notice that one player is thrown red on 3 of those little adventures, there's a good chance they're either bluffing or that they're red. At the end of the day, Tribunal is just an easy recommendation for us because it just makes Veiled Fate better. If you already loved Veiled Fate, this is a very, very easy yes for you. However, if you didn't like Veiled Fate, if there were some things that it just lacked for you and some of these expansion ideas intrigue you, I highly recommend giving this a chance as well. You might still not love it, but as for me and as for Tablenauts, we give this 5 renown out of 5. We'll see you guys next time.